Okay, we delete everything that we already recorded and we start from scratch because you know it, Mercato is crazy, totally crazy. The notification that just arrived from Telegram group because Mo and Saraz, they are working on giving us the news, and the news that just came is that apparently Juventus said no to Sporting Clube Portugal, according to a Bola, Portuguese paper. About what player? Ullman? No. About Alberto Costa, that was that close to leave Juventus after 6 months. He agreed on everything already with the club, but it's not because of financial request. It's not because Sporting was not able to give the 20 million requested. It's because Igor Tudor apparently was pushing behind the screens in the shadow, working for the confirmation of the Portuguese young player. And I think that a lot of Juventini will be really happy with that news. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you're all doing well. We started immediately with the big news, Alberto Costa. We will keep you up to date when we will have more information, but that's the one that I wanted to start it with. Then we have a lot of other news to speak about because yesterday we recorded, thanks to that really confidential, exclusive news of Luca Monplano about Franck Kessié that Juventus is interested in, and that apparently Damien Comolli already has the agreement of the player. Well, we spoke about it. I was waiting. Will other people start speaking about it? Or is it just Luca Monplano? Well, today, calciomercato.it is reporting it, but also La Repubblica is reporting it. Crazy idea, Kessié. After 2 years at Al Ahly, he could come back in Europe. Of course, we are speaking about the salary. Salary is impossible. Apparently, he's earning something more than 15 million euro net. He is aware that coming back in Europe, coming back to Juve, he will not have the same salary, but Franck Kessié could be an alternative to Ullman that Juventus is still in negotiation with, at least with the club. We have some updates about that. Juventus is also looking at other alternatives like André, but that could be the name that can reinforce Juve in terms of skills, in terms of what we are looking for. Well, we are going closer and closer and closer to the new midfielder of Juve. Let's see if we will continue with two-man midfield. Let's see if we will go towards a three-man midfield. But Franck Kessié is not just a name being there. It's a real name. And pay attention because it can be even more hot if we know that the same club that is owning the player today with 1 more year of contract, well, they are interested in Nico Gonzalez. A lot of people told me, Beppe, but Nico Gonzalez, are we sure that he will leave Juve? Are we sure that he's even taking into account the Saudi Arabia League? Well, I can tell you that today, yes, he could possibly open to Saudi Arabia. Yesterday I already told you that Nico Gonzalez, if there is one thing that I extremely appreciated, it was that the first rumors were saying that the Argentina said, if you don't want me, I don't want to stay. As easy as that. I want to be wanted in your club. I want to feel the trust. If it's not, it's okay. I will not create any problem. And these are things that honestly, I appreciate a lot. I prefer players like that, like it already happened in the past now with a few players, than players that are insisting to stay, thinking only about themselves, which is okay because they have a contract, but not thinking about what they could potentially do for their career. So bravo Nico Gonzalez, that is open for Al Ahly. So is there a possible way to go with Franck Kessié to Juve, Nico Gonzalez to Al Ahly, Nico Gonzalez Al Ahly is possible because he said, I'm open, let's listen. It's not a yes, but let's listen. And Al Ahly have absolutely no problem to pay the 30 million that Juventus is requesting for the Argentinian player. So we are accelerating today. Maybe even already when you will watch that video, there will be the official announcement of François Modesto, new technical director of Juventus Football Club, that will reinforce and being the link between Tudor, that is managing the team, being there, living the field 24/7, and Damien Comolli, that will not always be present on the field because you have a lot of things to manage. Good news, we already spoke about him, we already recorded a video about him, what is the role, why him, etc, etc, etc. I'm really curious to see François Modesto acting at Juve because people, they are speaking me only good thing about him. If you want, go back to the video that we already recorded. Now, I understand, because you know that the part of my day I dedicated to understand and to read what you're writing in the comment section. It's important because it's not only what I read, what I feel, but I want to stay connected with your thoughts, with your opinion. That's why I'm motivating you even more to write, because you are helping me. At least I know how you are feeling. Well, your feeling at the moment is frustration, is question marks. Some people even are saying, we already give up on it. Because here we go here we go there, here we go for all the clubs on the world. Well, in that social media era, I understand that you need these here we go, especially because we have 9 days before we start back the training camp in La Continassa before going to Herzogenaurach. So I totally understand that social media pressure of seeing that here we go. And even if it's not that, but thinking about the team that we need to reinforce if we want to do better than the 4th spot of last year, and it was a difficult 4th spot, knowing that Napoli is, I know, so I understand the frustration, I understand the negative comments about the work at the moment of Damien Comolli that only signed Jonathan David, but there was one thing that I wanted to speak about, that I wanted to reassure you in a way. Well, one thing that I was able to connect the dot and to tell you that is quite positive, or at least how I feel it, is that Damien Comolli is trying, and I insist on the word trying, to buy well. What do I mean with buying well? Signing players for the right price. Because we can sign players. If you want, you go and you pay the close of Conceicao, 30 million is your player. If you want, you pay the close of Victor Osimhen, that didn't sign yet with Galatasaray, and it's your player, by the way. Medical certificate, he will not go back to Napoli, so let's see what can happen in that situation, because we will come back on Osimhen. It's not over, even if I don't believe in it. But anyway, you can go like we did, for example, with Koopmeiners last year. 58 was the price that Atalanta was asking, and we paid 58. Nico Gonzalez, 38 was the price, 38 we paid. Kelly, we paid too much to have the player that was playing at Newcastle. So buying we can do, but if we are looking at the strategies, Jonathan David, that was easy to sign, you will tell me, well, we reduced it at 1/3 of the signature bonus. And that's already a great step, because otherwise we would have paid way too much. It would not have been a free transfer anymore. So from the 25 million euro requested, we went to 6 million euro, which is a good one. Conceicao, apparently, and we'll speak about him, minus 20% on the requested clause. How we did it, that's another story. But apparently, instead of paying the 30 million, we go towards the 24, 25 plus bonus. Sancho. We are in talks with the player. We found an agreement with the player. Now we need to speak with Manchester United, which we already did. The initial request was 25 million euro. Juventus is offering 15 for a player that is in his last year of contract. Do we want to speak about Renato Vega? You remember the starting price that was around 45, 50 million euro to have the player permanently. Juventus said, no, that's too much for us. We don't even want to sit for that price. Then we can regret the player or not. But for that price, which was, according to me, not appropriate, it's good that you don't even start discussions. What about the midfielder that we are looking for? Well, we start with Yulman. If the requests of Sporting are totally crazy, well, we go towards another objective already. André for Wolverhampton. Younger, same skills, more or less, but cheaper. And if they are asking too much because it's Premier League, because they don't need the money, well, we go back to another player that could be a cheap opportunity like a Kessié. And we are speaking about the same skills. We are speaking about more or less the same age for Yulman and for Kessié. Pay attention. So I think that at least we are trying to buy well, which is a big opportunity. Now, of course, the big question will be, let's see if you are also able to sell well, which I always said, a strong club, a strong management, we can identify it from the way that you are selling players. Anyway, Tutto Sport. And if I didn't yet, please put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe, because we continue with Tutto Sport with the page of today. Chico fa lo sconto e resta alla Juve. Chico is asking for a discount, or he's actually giving a discount to Juve. He stays at Juventus Football Club. The love of Chico for Juve is the title in Gazzetta dello Sport. Pay attention. When we are speaking about love, pay attention. I am a romanticus. I am a positive person. But when we are speaking about love in football, I would love to keep these words separated. Because then, you know, the heart might be broken. That's not what we want. But also here, there are a few factors that are important. Tudor has been decided. For the people that are saying he's stubborn, he's one that is not changing his decision, he's one that has one idea and he doesn't want to hear and listen to anybody. Well, Conceicao was a player that was not playing when Tudor arrived, and step by step he changed his mind. Maybe because Conceicao convinced him, maybe because he was open to try new things. Conceicao not only deserved to start at the end of the season in Serie A, but also being a starter at the FIFA Club World Cup, but now also deserved actually to stay at Juve. Tudor wanted the player Let's see. Apparently, the story, Conceicao, is that tomorrow the clause will go to 45. Yesterday, there were some voices from Portugal that were saying, nah, we didn't agree yet with Juve. There are some offers. Everton, Wolverhampton, Nottingham, where the player, Chico already said no, 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 so triple no, because he wants to stay at Juve. What does he want to do to stay at Juve? Well, when you have that 30 million euro clause, there is a part that is actually for the entourage, for the player, for their commission, 20%, which you would say, I refuse them. I refuse them because I really want Juventus to go for me. I really want to stay at Juventus Football Club. And looks like this is what Juventus wants to do. A max of 25 million euro plus bonus for the Portuguese player. Tudor as well has been decisive here, like he maybe could potentially be for Alberto Costa. Now we have other news, like the one of Sancho. You will tell me, Beppe, or I always told you it's not or, it's and if, of course, the situation is right. And Nico Gonzalez will be decisive there. Now, pay attention, because if Alberto Costa, we are not cashing in, not doing any profit with him, can we continue? Well, Sancho, you know it, openness totally from the player, wants to wait for Juve, not that long, but wants to wait, giving priority to the Bianconeri. But of course, now Juventus needs to check with Manchester United what they want to do and what the Reds are able to accept from Juve. There is one player that we didn't speak a lot about that could potentially do the step in the first team. We know it. Every year we have like these kind of 3 next-gen players that are doing the step. This year I didn't identify a lot of players that could possibly reinforce Juve. But one name that could try is the name of Alessandro Pietrelli. 6 months with the Juventus next-gen. We signed him permanently. He's 22, so his future cannot be long with the next-gen because you know it, 23... and it's over, so he has 1 more year at the Juventus next gen possibly, but it's a player that could potentially also immediately start with the first team, the training session, being tested also in Herzogenaurach in Germany, to let's see if we can go and trust him being the Bangula of season 24-25, the player that we don't expect anything, and that is surprising and so beautiful. Also, Miretti will try, but on Miretti there are a few voices, like I told you yesterday, Bologna extremely interested, but also Napoli with Manna and Conte on the player. They don't want to offer a lot. Juventus is not thinking to sell Miretti to Napoli. What about Bologna? Could be, of course, if we don't want the player, after being tested in the first weeks with Tudor, one thing is sure, that we will try to work on that competition because some Italian teams are on him. Do we have other news to speak about? Absolutely yes. After Conceicao, we want to reinforce our attack because the goal of Juve is to score more goals. We already spoke about that in, I believe, 2-3 weeks ago, that Juventus, they want to score more goals with a vision of Igor Tudor. And to reinforce our attack, Jonathan David is one, confirming Yildiz with a new contract. Conceicao being there, maybe potentially a Sancho, that fresh legs of a Pietrelli, but we are still missing a player. That player could be Kolo Muani. But pay attention, because at the moment it's stagnating. Juventus, they want the loan, while Paris Saint-Germain, they want the obligation. So, right on the loan or an obligation to buy. So let's see what will be there. Chelsea is interested on the player, which I find really strange, with Liam Delap, with Joao Pedro, with all the options that they have there. Why should they go for Kolo Muani? Kolo Muani that would love to stay at Juve, but at the moment it's blocked the situation. So today, tomorrow maximum, there will be meeting, a summit between player, club and Juventus Football Club. Record in Portugal is telling us, pay attention, not only Chico Conceicao, not only, and it's over for Gyökeres, so forget about that name, but Juventus could cash in even more money with a player like Enzo Barrenechea, because he is about to go from Aston Villa to Benfica in Portugal. 15 million euro more or less is what he could be sold for. Juventus has 10% of the resale, so that means 1.5, maybe a bit more, if they are able to cash in a bit more Aston Villa. So let's see, because that would be beautiful, coming out of nowhere. We're not expecting that. And then we are also receiving 1.75 for the transfer of Felix Correa from Gil Vicente, if I'm not wrong, to Lille, to the French club. He comes back in Europe, and that could be another beautiful one. I already told you about Yulmand, where today they are speaking about in Corriere Sport. An extra detail that I can give you is that he has a release clause of 80 million euro, which is totally out of proportion. The player says, no, I don't care about the clause. clause, because when I signed my contract, when we put that clause, well, we spoke about Amorim being my coach. He's not my coach anymore, and that's why that clause, according to me, is not anymore valid. I don't know. There is a name, because you saw that the wall totally changed again. I promised you yesterday in Juve. There are a lot of signed items there. You can see that the name of Adzic is back there. Well, Adzic, a lot of clubs are on him in Italy: Palermo, Pisa, Sassuolo, Genoa. Juventus made it clear: we don't sell the player. We could potentially loan him out, and not even sure, because he could potentially be a player that can rotate, that can reinforce the first team. So the future of Vasilije Adzic is yet to be decided. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it. For people that didn't do it and that are starting to discover, you can even hide the video. Thank you for yesterday, by the way. Don't forget to subscribe. Grazie, forza, Juve.